It's 7:40. Let's do this. Good evening, Hampton Roads. Good evening, Northeast, North Carolina. My name is David Aldrich, Chief Meteorologist of WTKR News 3 Television, and you are watching First Warning Live, sponsored by Marco's Pizza, where this week, even though it's a little bit of a shorter week, I was off yesterday, we're giving away free pizza, like 22 pizzas. 12 will go to one person, that's 12 pizzas for the year, and 10 individual pies will go out the door on Thursday in certificate form. But I do want to get to the big story. We're talking about the tropical update. I call it Dancing with the Storms. Now, I know what you're thinking. Isn't that the stars? I think you got the wrong show. There's 34 seasons. 34 seasons maybe with Dancing with the Stars. I'm talking about Dancing with the Storms. That's one season. That's this Fujiwara effect that some people are vastly confused. What's going on? I thought we're supposed to get hit. We're not going to get hit. Although, somebody had said in a post, I think it was back on Saturday, I got a note from Alan. I got some posts, some comments that come in after the fact. It said, snap, crackle, but no pop. I don't know about the pop part, because I do know 5 homes collapsed today in Buxton. So you can say we didn't get hit directly, but tell that to the 5 people that lost their home in Buxton. See, that's what I'm saying. It's a very sticky situation. When you're in the world of messaging with weather, which I did last week, I said, invite you to check back. These things can change. A pinball is going to go back and forth between Cuba and the Bahama Islands. And what happened is this thing is being pulled out with the stronger storm known as Umberto. So I'm getting ahead of myself, but I do want to mention to you that we're not done with the effects here. We've got windy conditions tonight, we've got tidal flooding, and we're going to have this continue for the next 24 hours or more. So we've got beach erosion, all the rest. Well, the peak wind gust today so far has been 30 in Norfolk, 35 Virginia Beach, and we've had a 35-mile-an-hour gust in Manio, 32 in Currituck, and 33 in Hatteras. So if you look at the ocean front right now, you can see, even though it's dark, there's enough ambient light to see that there's some chop, there's some surf racing in on shore. And those wind speeds are going to be part of the story as we head through the next 24 hours. So Norfolk's right now at 30, got 25 in Virginia Beach. Don't see any reports now in Hampton or Walvis, but Manio's currently gusting at 32 miles an hour here at 7:42 on a Tuesday night. There's the 30 gust. So that occurred and was reported at 7 o'clock. And it's now 7:42. That will change, obviously, with the top of the hour. But we have a 32-mile-an-hour gust in Manio, and we can slide downward down toward Rodanthe. They've had 34 and 32 in Manio. We also have the overwash. NC12 has also made things a lot more challenging, issues where roads might be closed all the way down at Ocracoke. So I would encourage you, if you're visiting from out of town, check with the web pages of these townships and these towns. Make sure that they're open for business, because there's been obviously some concern. Wave heights are going to continue to be elevated. This takes us to 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. May not be that high where you are, but it's certainly going to be potentially there, because you got 2 hurricanes out in the middle of the Atlantic. Meanwhile, you got, maybe by the time we hit Thursday morning, this takes us through Thursday afternoon, 6 to 10 feet further out the coast. So wave heights will also be on the higher side than normal. The beach forecast for Virginia Beach from the Weather Service is calling for 7 to 11 feet. With obviously waves that big, surf that height, you're looking at a high rip current risk, and low tide tomorrow is at 8:53. So clearly, when you got these kind of winds, 25 to 35, 40, those gusts are going to still be a big factor. Now, what may not be a big factor is how we can save you some money. Did I mention to you the deal of the week? Oh, I should. And I will. It's the Hot Honey Magnifico from Marco's. They do deliver. But if you want to participate in a $10.99 version of this pizza, all you have to do is use the promo code WTKR Sunny and the Hot Honey Magnifico, which is really tasty. It's got the sweet honey, and then with the chili peppers in the hot honey product, it has a little bit of a kick on the way down the esophagus, as it were. But it really is tasty. I love the Mike's Hot Honey. I might get myself one tonight. But I will tell you, if you use the promo code WTKR Sunny, you are going to save some money. There's also 5 locations on the scene here, soon to be 6. Any day now, we're going to get full updates on the location at South Battlefield Boulevard. That's near the Great Bridge Middle School. But if you want to sign up for some free pizza, it takes you about a minute. You might be the winner this Thursday, but you got to sign up. It takes about a minute or 2 to give us permission to send you the certificate. We need to know your address, email address. But go to our webpage, WTKR.com/Marcos, and you can sign up. Always appreciative of Marcos, because they're always giving back. You might want a Pizzoli, you might want a Magnifico, the old style cup pepperoni pizza. pizza, but their your appetite might be calling for some Marco's Pizza tonight, and if not, you have to the rest of the week to enjoy the Hot Honey Magnifico. All right, back to the pizza and back to the forecast, because I do want to mention the high surf, and I'll revisit this momentarily. What we're not getting is a lot of rain. Has it been cloudy? Absolutely. Has it been drippy? 100%. But not everybody's getting the rain that some might expect would have when you have two hurricanes off the coast. We've got a stalled boundary well south of Wilmington, North Carolina, high pressure in the midsection of the country, but there is some rain. That's not to say you couldn't get some drizzle overnight tonight, tomorrow, but really the big story is this storm. This is Imelda, right? This was not a big deal over the weekend, but it's got winds. I'll go ahead and put this in here. We've got, as of the last report, 85 miles an hour. So this is a Category 1. I'll clear this screen. Let's go over here. This is Umberto. I believe it's 80, last I checked, 80 miles an hour. So this is a Category 1. They're both Category 1s. But to have them this far apart is pretty remarkable, pretty unusual. And because I'm such a weather nerd, I'll go ahead and put what I figured this out, right? I used the lat longitude. So the distance between here and here, between, say, Norfolk and Umberto, is 359 nautical miles. So that's the distance there. Now, the distance between Norfolk and Imelda, I'm having to curve my line so you can read it, is 427 nautical miles to our south. But the distance between Imelda and, you see, you're going to do the Pythagorean theorem? No, I'm not even going to go into geometry. But I find it fascinating that Imelda Umberto, total distance, 412 nautical miles. So you have this crazy little thing going on here. It's not something you're going to see very often in life itself, right? This is not something we typically see. So I come back on camera here. But what is interesting to me is that you can have this kind of dynamic and one is pulling on the other. And it's what we call the Fujiwara effect, where you have a common center, and they're basically the bigger one, Umberto, is going to pull Imelda out. So we're not going to get hit directly. So the sentiment that somebody wrote, snap, crackle, but no pop, you still get damage when you got two hurricanes churning up the waters. Does that make sense? I hope it does. Just wanted to give you some context. And if we look at the surf advisory, I got to get a whole bunch of these things. I'll just rattle these off, and then I'm going to get to your questions. But high surf advisory until 6 p.m. Thursday morning. That's not even tomorrow. That's Thursday morning for wave heights 6 to 11 feet. So this, again, continues to chip away at our beaches, at our shoreline. Coastal flood warning until 8 o'clock Friday. That's a long time from now. Friday, that's Rodanthe, that's Hatteras, that's Ocracoke, 2 to 3 feet inundation. Coastal flood advisory. This doesn't even start for these areas until 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, but run till 9 p.m. Wednesday. So you're talking about coastal flood advisories where you have minor flooding happening when? Less than 24 hours from now. 5 o'clock tomorrow for Sewell's Point, it's about 5.1. Then it's going to level off to a minor situation. But the peak of it would be between now and, say, the next 24 hours. Let's say 24 hours from now. If we go to Duck, it also a little more extended, 5.9 feet, minor flooding. But after 3 o'clock tomorrow, hopefully things will come back down to a sensible or reasonable level. But that's where things are. I just wanted to kind of highlight this so that if there's any questions, I'll do my best to put your comment on the screen. I'm just juggling and multitasking as I speak because I know there might be a few questions that some of you have, and if that's the case, hopefully I can put it on the screen. I got a note from Marilyn Bell. I do believe she's here. She's in Tennessee. She said, I saw the houses in Buxton that collapsed, so sad. 5 of them. And I heard from our neighborhood reporter, Will Thomas, there's been 17 of these things to go down since 2020. So in the last 5 years, think about it, just for a moment. I know it's not you, maybe, that's affected by this. You, meaning you might be watching. But let's say you work your whole work life, you save some money in retirement to get a house along the Outer Banks. You see where I'm going with this? It's tragic. It's heartbreaking. And yet, we didn't even have a direct hit. Didn't even have a direct hit. Someone says, well, didn't matter. It wasn't a pop. It popped for some. It really is a heartbreak. And I point to this simply because we're not done with all the effects. We'll look at the wind gusts. Look at the wind gusts. I got some other notes from Taj. He's on here. Hey, Taj, I want to say good evening to you. Hope he's having a great evening. He says hello. And I got a hello, Taj, right back from Maryland. So we'll have a nice conversation with some folks here, and I'm very appreciative of that. But I can emphasize that the winds are probably going to get worse than they are now. There's 50. That's 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So for Hatteras And for anywhere along the Outer Banks, Northeast North Carolina, Virginia Beach, you're looking at 35, 40, 45, 50, right? And over a period of time, you say, well, if it's just 1 hour, I can handle it. But this goes on for hours. Let me take you to 4 o'clock. This is the end of the afternoon. It's still around 50, still about 43 here. So, I mean, yeah, it's probably a good idea to maybe pull down the flag if you've got patio furniture. You're going to have some windy days, a windy day tomorrow. It's not going to like disappear altogether all that fast by 5 o'clock. Thursday is still over 30 here. It's still breezy, but let's say the worst of it is tomorrow, and then we see some really good looking weather heading into the weekend. By the weekend, things look really good. This represents 7 p.m. Friday, where it's generally under 20. Most cases for gusts, that wind will slowly subside. Another way to look at it is look at the wind gust forecast here. This kind of covers inland Virginia. It looks at inland North Carolina. And you can still see there's some gusts here over 30, 36, some cases right through tomorrow evening. So just be mindful, if the winds are blowing, they're not going to necessarily slow down or slacken until both storms, 1 and 2, Imelda and Umberto, finally go out to sea. By the way, here are the low temperatures this morning. I like to give you the specifics. 6:01, we hit a low of 71. But here's what no one's going to tell you this. I don't know anybody in the weather community that's geek enough than me to tell you we had 16 hours, because I'm a note taker, from 7 p.m. last night to 10 a.m. this morning. Repeat, 7 p.m. Monday to 10 a.m. this morning. We had 16 hours of consecutive 72 hourly reports from Norfolk International. Norfolk International with 72 degrees for 16 hours straight. I find that interesting. I mean, talk about isothermal, talk about being pretty level-headed. Temperature didn't move. Even though we had 71 somewhere between those 16 hours, the hourlies never changed. And we finally got to 75 today, and I can show you that because that's where we finished. 75 for the second day in a row. We had 75, and we're ending September about 1.5 degrees below normal. About 1.5 degrees, even though we had twice as many 90s that we expect. We had 4, not 2. We had 4 90-degree days in September, not 2, but we still ended up finishing roughly about 1.5 degrees below normal. Weather headlines, we probably could take on my Baycam. That logo was not meant to be there, but dueling hurricanes, both moving out to sea. Both are moving out to sea. I can tell you that. Clearing out, we're going from clouds to sunshine tomorrow, and it's going to be fall. I mean, 100%. Like the calendar says, it's going to feel like fall. It's going to be like fall when we're luckily hitting the 70s with lower humidity down the road. And I got to tell you this, on Thursday, we're lucky to hit 69 in the shade. I'm telling you what, if you can handle the wind tomorrow, you can handle the tidal flooding. You get to Thursday and you're struggling to get to 69, it's a real treat. It's a good weather day. Maybe you want to go out and plan that hayride or plan the pumpkin patch trip. 69 degrees. Maybe you got Thursday off. Maybe it's getting closer to fall break for you and the kiddos. Who knows? I don't know. But I know that Thursday's looking really good. If you're looking for rain, you've come to the wrong place. We haven't had much. We're not going to get much. 10% chance on Wednesday, 10% Thursday, 10% on Friday. And look at this. It looks beautiful this weekend. This weekend looks fantastic. Did you know what also is going on this weekend? I can tell you what, because I take notes. You know I take notes. I take other good notes. We've got the Homegrown Harvest Festival in Franklin. Franklin's got this disco, what I've learned, disco corn maze. I mean, they've got chefs, they've got food, they've got all sorts of great, there's a fall festival in Franklin. The Homegrown Harvest Fall Festival. Check it out. There's also Yoga with Santa in Hampton. Now, I don't know about Santa Claus needing yoga, but before the season they think he needs to loosen up. I'm all for it. If you like yoga and you like Santa Claus, you got a Hampton event. And also there's the Kennel Club Dog Show at the Southampton County Fairgrounds, Newmarket Road, Southampton, Virginia. So in Cortland area. So just maybe west of Franklin. But that's going on this weekend too. So if you can't find something to do, you're just not looking. And there's just so much good things to do this weekend because it's going to feel less humid. It's going to feel great, even though we've been talking about this for what days? And for the whole weekend, people were all biting their fingernails. And I said, it's not time to panic, folks. It's not time to panic. Let's wait and see what happens. And I can tell you, Imelda and Umberto, kind of unusual to have Umberto, was at one time a Category 5 over the weekend. Now it's just a shell of itself. There's Bermuda, that little island right there. It's going to miss. Umberto may get absorbed by Imelda. here in the next 24 to 48 hours. By Thursday, Umberto, and I'll show you the maps that suggested, looks like this one's going right for Bermuda. Bermuda might get hit by Imelda by sometime Wednesday night as a Category 2 storm. That would be a real bummer if you had family visiting Bermuda. But in the end, Imelda's going to hit something, and that happens to be, looks like it's going to be Bermuda. And once this goes up to the cooler waters of the Atlantic, it's bye-bye, nothing to see here. By the time we get the weekend, it's post-tropical, and Hurricane Imelda might actually absorb what's left of Umberto. Now, trivia question, just to see how engaged you are this evening on it is now 7:55. What year did we last see 3+ Category 5 hurricanes in a single season in the Atlantic? In a single Atlantic hurricane season. Is it A, 2024, B, 2005, or C, 2020? Just check in the comments. Be quick to draw. Leave me a note, leave me a message, let me know. Let's see here. Somebody was asking about, thought it was 5 houses. 5 houses have gone down, but 17 homes have gone down since 2020. I think Charnel or Nell Starkey is having that question. Is that what's why seeing that? Am I seeing that right? That might be what is in discussion. But yeah, a lot of homes, any home, if it's your home, that's all that matters. It's terrible. I got a note from Kim Thompson Jones, maybe. No, she's not in there. I see Taj. And Taj is saying hey-o to Marilyn Bell. Any comments on A, B, or C for the trivia question? I want to know if anybody has a guess. I'll give you like 10 more seconds. If not, I will give you the answer. The answer is, what year did we last see 3+ Category 5 hurricanes in a single Atlantic season? The answer is 2005. You call it B. That was Emily, which hit around the Jamaica area. Then you had Katrina, you had Rita, and you had Wilma. And those 4 actually accounted for the last time we had this many Category 5. So enhanced satellite picture shows we've got a lot of activity going on, but this is where they two come together. I love this picture. I got a note from Tosh. He either answered momentarily after I put it on there, or he say, B, I'm going to give you credit. If you had it right, then so be it. But yeah, we go back to this map where these two are going to come together. They're going to fuse into one. Now, somebody might be thinking, gee, I'm certainly glad they didn't fuse into one big one, and then head up here. We were lucky in many ways, right? This is not something that happens every day or even every hurricane season. But clearly you can see just from this illustration, you have a center here and you have a center here. Tell me at what point do these two actually merge and become one storm? You might say, well, maybe there, right? That's about 10:30 on Wednesday night. So tomorrow night, there may be real evidence that maybe Umberto, what's left of it, post-tropical, gets kind of absorbed into what's Imelda and eventually works its way to the cooler waters of the Atlantic. But high pressure trying to nose down here across parts of New England and eventually affecting us. This is another look at the same model, the European. You can see these two entities kind of fusing or merging into one and becoming one storm as it moves out to sea. This, of course, is one particular model that some love and favor in the weather community. The GFS, which is an American model, suggests a similar outcome where both of these two kind of washed together. And Bermuda has reasons to be concerned by the time we hit later into this week, possibly on Wednesday night, for a possible Category 2 hitting Bermuda. Now, if you look at the named storms, clearly far and away, we've had now 2. We had Aaron at Cat 5, we had Umberto as a Category 5 at one time, and Imelda is a Category 1, likely to go to 2 probably later tonight, tomorrow. But Jerry, followed by Karen, followed by Lorenzo, are the next 3 names on the list as time goes on. We'll see how it goes. By the way, today's high, getting back to local weather here, 75 for the second day in a row, record high from 1986. Here it is. This is September. This is the whole month. There's no more days to add because we only get 30 days this month. It was a 10-20, meaning we had precisely 10 days above normal, 20 below. And that's going to likely give us about 1.5 degrees below normal for the month. When you add up all the highs and lows and divide by 30, you essentially get an average. But we had 2 days in the 60s, had 2 days in the 90s for the first Friday, Saturday weekend, and then we had 2 more here. So yeah, it's kind of strange to see that the pendulum swung so harshly one way versus the other, because when you can go from 95 on a Saturday to 75 on a Sunday. And where were you on Saturday afternoon, Saturday night? Because I know we had a lot of activities going on in Virginia Beach, and we got quite a bit of rain, which I'm going to show you here. Picked up 2¼ inches of rain on Saturday. That's a lot of rain. We had a trace today. It's, like I said, not a lot of rain, but there's just enough nuisance drops that nothing's measurable, but we've had 3 T's there. So we're going to end the month with 6.64. I went ahead and showed you what that looks like. We're now about just under 4 inches below normal for the year. And this is the third month, only the third month where we've had a surplus. We had a surplus back when we got the big snow in February. Many of you remember February 19th. When you factor in the rain and melted snow, we ended up with over 3 inches for the month above normal. And May was an above normal month. In total now, we've had 35 inches of rain and melted snow, but last year we had almost 45. So we're running up almost 10 inches below where we were this time last year. Just checking in with comments that might be coming in with you. I got a note from Kim. She's on here. I want to say hi to her and underline her note. She says, good evening. Better late than never. Always a pleasure to see you, Kim. Hopefully you're going to enjoy the 7-day. I think you're going to love it. Stay with me. It turns less humid. And if you're joining us late, the big story, maybe in the temperature department, is that we'll be struggling to hit 69 degrees in Norfolk, Virginia Beach on Thursday. And that's just a few days away. But you got to get through the wind and the rain tonight. That's unfortunate because it's going to be rather windy, gusty the next at least the next 12 to 24 hours minimum. Tidal flooding, which we've looked at a moment ago, may also be an issue, at least through tomorrow evening. Now, precipitation versus normal, we talked about being a surplus, about 1.25 inches above normal for September. Look at the big story around the country. If you're in the military and you have family anywhere and everywhere, I can clearly see it's raining, no severe weather, but raining up and down Seattle, Portland, back toward Northern California. Got some showers. Don't see any snow yet. Well, I think that could change as we obviously head into October, but so far places like Minnesota and Nebraska all dealing with a couple of scattered rain showers. And if we looked off the coast, you can see the beautiful spin. I say it's beautiful because if it's not affecting us and not affecting and hurting anybody, we can see 2 distinct storms known as Imelda and Umberto, but Imelda likely to head toward Bermuda by tomorrow night. There is scattered showers up and down Virginia, mainly in through central North Carolina and extending down toward Florida, where they're also getting some showers at this time. Now, dew points are going to be very comfortable. In that somewhere between the very nice and comfortable stage would be about a 60, right? And I suspect it will be around 60 for a dew point tomorrow, but it comes way down on Thursday. Now, I had said last week I thought we could be in the 40s. Because of our atmospheric traffic jam in the Atlantic, that might be delayed another couple of days. Take me at least now to the middle of October, on the 12th through the 14th. We might have another shot of getting into the upper 40s, especially for places like Wakefield, Emporia, Cortland, Franklin. You probably have a better chance of getting a little bit drier, but even still, if you're in the 50s, everything below 60 is pretty nice. With a capital N. Capital N, nice. By the way, it's now 8:02. I got some new numbers for you. 8 o'clock. 72 right now in Norfolk, 71 in Chesapeake, Virginia Beach. Current temperature in Hampton is 73. And it is cooler, much to the tune of, how about the 60s right now? From anywhere from Windsor, Ahoskie, Franklin, who has that homegrown harvest festival this weekend. Yeah, they're in the 60s right now. Kiptopeek's at 70, Manio 71, Hertford 71, and Moyock currently looking good. Temperature-wise, 72, not bad. But we have a lot of clouds. I mentioned that. We already mentioned we have quite a bit of wind, and that might just be picking up in intensity. The wind speeds are going to pick up overnight into tomorrow morning. Temperatures right now are a lot warmer. Back in Middle Tennessee, 81. I want to say hi to all my friends in Knoxville, East Tennessee. Virginia Beach, 71. So not far, 4 degrees difference between Knoxville and Virginia Beach. Hatteras is at 73, while the Big Apple currently at 70 degrees. I'm just checking in with comments because I like to multitask. Kim is giving me some approval. I think she likes what she sees here. She says, yes, I'm loving these temps. I'm loving these temps too, because if they can stay, if we can get through October now with some really nice weather, it's kind of like usually when you get a tropical system, storm, hurricane. If it comes in and rolls out, typically it acts like Mother Nature's swizzle stick. It'll clear out all the aerosols, all the clouds, all the debris, and just have clean air. And we're going to finally get some of that as that high comes down from New England. May not be perfect. There may still be some cirrus clouds. But it's still, I'm loving the cooler air that will eventually manifest itself into this great weekend that I'm talking about. Great weekend, mid to upper 70s Saturday and Sunday. But I get ahead of myself. I do want to show you from the Climate Prediction Center. It shows nothing super cold here. I mean, if it was like really cool here, you think, okay, snow is going to probably hit the Great Lakes. Not so fast. Right now, things look rather above normal for October, right? I just mentioned that September was about 1.5 degrees below normal, so maybe the pendulum in October swings it back above board, above normal. Future temperatures at 5,000 feet at the 850 millibar level show some blue. I'm looking over here. It dips all the way down into Minnesota. Maybe that's around the 6th or 7th, first week. So depending on if your kiddos, depending on where you are, and you got family that's on a break, a fall break, or maybe just an extended period of time, these cool temperatures through the 10th of October aren't brutal. I mean, keep in mind, the normal high this time of year is 77. So if it's slightly above 77, what are you, 80? 80's not bad, and if it's below, you're probably in the low to mid 70s. But it does look a little cool going into October 10th. That might be something to look forward to, especially if you're not a fan of the heat. Tomorrow's planner, I can't emphasize this enough. Clouds to sun. Say it with me. Clouds to sun. You're going to wake up tomorrow morning. It's going to look just as gloomy as it ended. And if you looked outside before the sun went down tonight, you would have said, yeah, go look kind of gray, kind of gloomy, plenty of clouds. And for some of you, because the clearing is going to go from north to south, that's my depiction of north to south, by midday it may not even have sun. It may still look like 8 a.m. at noon if you're in a Hosky or Elizabeth City or even Moyock. It might take until the afternoon before the clearing begins to evolve, and eventually it should be mostly clear tomorrow night. But this is a gust of 35 at a minimum. We've already showed you Hatteras. There will be around 50. Could be around 45 maybe for Virginia Beach, but generally 35, I think. Certainly for areas away from the shore, away from the coastline, 70 degrees by about, say, noon, and a high of 72. So the normal high is 77. This is what I think Kim Thompson-Jones and maybe Taj Brown are happy about. Loving the fact that these temperatures are better than ever, and they will be better than ever. Let's see. Taj is wanting to clear the record, and I believe him. He says, I caught the trivia question beforehand, and I was good. All right, so I'm good. Glad. 2005, I remember pretty well. I was in Rochester in that year, and it was amazing after we had Katrina and Rita that we'd get another one named Wilma. But that's sometimes that's the type of situation. You have a Atlantic Ocean that sometimes just lights up, and 2005 was one of those years where we got quite a few Category 5 storms. But look at the Saturday and Sunday. Well, I mean, if there's nothing else you walk away from this live stream, hey, honey, the weather's going to be great this weekend. What do you want to do with it? I want to sit indoors and stare at all four walls. No! Get outside. You'll be kicking yourself if you don't get outside this weekend, and you're not going to have the challenges you had last Saturday, I can assure you. 69 for Saxes tomorrow. Onancock, about 68, 69 Exmoor. I'm looking at tomorrow morning's Eastern Shore forecast for Wednesday. Yes, we've got some high surf. We've got rip currents. We've got all the big surf hitting the shores. Manio 71 tomorrow. 70 for Kill Devil Hills, and a lot of clouds in the morning. A lot of clouds. Maybe even mostly cloudy to finish if you're in Hatteras, Ocracoke, and Rodanthe, as the clearing will be coming from north to south, generally thanks to the low high pressure system up there. So understanding the severe thunderstorm risk. Now this is amazing, because if there's nothing colored here, we would just say general thunderstorms. But if it's dark green, that's kind of what I focus on. Anything that might be scattered severe storms. But here's the rub. There's nothing to see here. Wait a minute. This covers us through 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. That's right. Nothing to see on Wednesday. Does this mean the Storm Prediction Center can take some time off, some much needed time off? Maybe. I know they won't. I know they've still got 24-hour shifts covered, but they do cover the whole lower 48. There's nothing to talk about in terms of the possibility of severe weather on Wednesday. What about Thursday? There's got to be something on Thursday. No, there's nothing here either. So you got nothing tonight, nothing tomorrow, nothing on Thursday. There's no severe weather. Now, granted, there might be some thunderstorms. That I've not colored here, but anything that's isolated, severe, nothing. Nothing to see, which is great news. Now, where things are going to change as we move through tomorrow is I thought we'd start off at 9 o'clock tonight, which is, by the way, it is now 8:09. These clouds and the brisk wind, this is sustained at 21 at 7 a.m., so we've got some gusts around 35, 40, 45, maybe 50 by daybreak tomorrow morning, all the way up and down the Outer Banks, clouds are beginning to break in, Middlesex? Maybe here between Isle of Wight and maybe around Sussex, but there could be, I left a 10% chance. By midday tomorrow, let me take this full, because maybe it's easier to see. There are some breaks, right? I'm not going to say it's all clear, hunky-dory at noon, but if the sun breaks out where you are and suddenly you're squinting, don't be surprised. Don't be surprised. Now, is it totally gone at 5? No, that's the problem. Some of you will say, well, the sun came out for a part of it. Maybe it's a partly sunny finish, but you still have that brisk wind out of the northeast around 21 miles an hour. So I'm suspecting it's 15 to 30 a good part of the day. So it's a windy, gusty day, and I left even tomorrow night clearing, or mostly clear, because by 11 o'clock tomorrow night, when we're streaming around 7:40 to 8, a lot of the clouds will have done a disappearing act, right? It's mostly clear by this point in the calendar by this time tomorrow night, and something to look forward to. Now, if we move this into Thursday, could we throw back another spotty shower with the storm working its way out to sea? Yeah, we could throw back a few drops. There could be even some green dots here and here. So it's not to say it's perfectly dry everywhere 100%, but there could be some drizzle. That's all I'm trying to illustrate. That's why I left a 10% chance of rain Thursday, 10% chance of rain on Friday as well. So you have all these scattered clouds coming into town. Low temperatures tonight, about 64 for the peninsulas, 67 south side, 66 North Carolina. If you have any questions, let me know. I want to do my best to answer any questions you have. I got Taj and Marilyn, and Edith is on here. Edith is actually, she's chimed in. Maybe she had this a little quicker and I didn't see it, but you are correct, Edith, you are correct. 2005 was a very bad hurricane season year with 4. Sometimes we forget Emily around Jamaica, 2005, but then it was followed up with Katrina. Even though Katrina made landfall as a Cat 3, it was a 5 right before it made landfall. And then, of course, when the levees broke, all heck broke loose. We know that pretty well. Then it was Rita and then Wilma. But great. That I'm glad you're responsive and also very thankful that you're here watching. Temperatures tonight down to 66 for Suffolk, about 68 for Hampton, about 65 for Chincoteague, and for lows tonight, about 66 for Moyock, 69 for Corolla and Nags Head. Tomorrow afternoon, we will struggle to get to 72. 72 degrees with clouds to sun. The afternoon is hopeful that we'll get breaks. Clouds will begin to break and we'll be continuing on in the evening with clearing skies tomorrow night. Highs tomorrow, 71 Williamsburg. I've got us for a high in Gloucester at 71 and 72 for Elizabeth City, 74 for beautiful Edenton, 72 Norfolk, and 71 in Moyock for an afternoon high temperature. Here's your first warning. WTKR News 3 7-day forecast. It's now 8:12. 72 tomorrow, 69. Now there will be less humidity and somewhat less wind. You could still guess that you're looking at 5 to 15 plus for winds. It could easily be gusts over 20, but it's not going to be as windy as tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll describe it as clearing and windy. But look at the weekend. I mean, if there's any reason to get out this weekend, it's the weather's going to be hunky-dory, fantastic, and we're still flirting with around 80 Monday, Tuesday of next week. So Monday and Tuesday next week, mostly sunny skies. Saturday, Sunday look great. And when you've got dew points in the upper 50s, it's very, very comfortable. Can't emphasize how comfortable it is and will be heading into the latter part of this week. Got a great happy shots for you. William Wood captured this Buckrow Beach. I got 2 sunrises and 1 sunset. We'll end on the sunset, but this is Buckrow Beach. William Wood, thank you for sharing this beautiful picture with us. And along the Chesapeake Avenue waterfront in Hampton, this is a sunrise from Bradley Fullwood. Thank you, Bradley, for sharing this beautiful gem. And last but not least, Sandra Dean Snyder captured this beautiful sunset at James River, and you can see the clouds and the juxtaposition of the sun going down. Just beautiful. I love it. Love being able to see these great photos. They are awesome. Very thankful for you. And again, if you're just joining us and want to know, where's this rain I keep hearing about? Well, there's some drizzle along Hatteras, possibly around Rodanthe, but just don't expect much rain. Clouds, yes. Wind, yes. Tidal flooding, a problem. We already covered that at the top of the live stream. You can go back and watch it. When I sign off, it'll be easier to scrub backwards. By the way, first warning shows, again, temperatures going to be in the upper 60s on Thursday, back to the mid to upper 70s this upcoming Saturday and Sunday. So there you go. Excited about all that? We can reset. I want to remind you, if you're hungry, and boy, am I hungry after doing this, deal of the week is the Hot Honey Magnifico from Marco's. Marco's, as you know, you can go anywhere in the country and go to Marco's, but there's only 5 locations, soon to be 6, that will give you a $10.99 Marco's pizza if you use the promo code WTKR, that's our call letters, and then it's followed up with the word Sunny. And if you use that promo code, you will be afforded a Mike's Hot Honey Medium for $10.99. Pretty sweet. I love it. I think you will love it. There are 5 locations. You can find Marco's all over the Tidewater area and Hampton Roads. Marcos.com, way to go. But there are 3 Virginia Beach locations with the 757 phone number, 1 in Chesapeake, soon to be 2 in Chesapeake, and 1 in Norfolk. All you have to do is sign up for WTKR.com/Marcos. If you do that, what you are making yourselves eligible to win is this: a pizza for a year certificate. We're in October tomorrow, you'll get 12 individual large pizzas, 1 topping for free every month, and use it like a punch card. We'll mail it to you if you win. But you're going to be able to go right into September of 2026 with 12 pizzas. And then, of course, we love to do on Thursdays, give away 10 individual pizzas as well. That's about as fun and as easy as doing this, just passing out pizza. You get a pizza, you get a pizza. Love doing that too. It's a lot of fun. But Marco's, of course, you might say, well, what's the connection with weather? Well, they love pizza, they love weather, I love pizza, and I love weather, so why not? We have a great relationship where they're giving back to the community all the time. And if you've been a winner, because we've been doing this, we've given away hundreds of pizzas since the end of May, then you really understand, hey, it really is fun. If you haven't tried Marco's, it's a great opportunity to do so. So just want to thank all my friends at Marco's. Pozzoli, Magnifico, some options you can consider. The pepperoni and sausage Magnifico is like a stromboli or a calzone. But anyway, you want to satisfy your appetite, go to WTKR.com/Marcos. They would love to hear from you. Just remember, it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny, and in this case over the weekend, not so serious. Probably more than a snap, crackle, no pop, because when you got 2 hurricanes spinning off the coast, it obviously has implications on Overwash, NC-12, and Buxton Homes coming down. Not a good scene. Not a good scene. So let's take care of our friends, take care of our neighbors. That's what we're here for. We're all we've got. So it doesn't matter if the weather is sunny or serious, make the most of it. As I would encourage you to say that every day is a gift. Make the most of it in your neighborhood. We'll see you here tomorrow. Take care.